Okay.
Oh, goodness.
We've got quite the peanut gallery. So call our meeting to order of the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order at 6:32. The first item on the agenda is a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, second item on our agenda is approval of minutes. There are copies of minutes from our last regular meeting on February 5th and the special meeting that followed.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for the regular meeting of February 5th, 2018 as submitted.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, the second. I move to accept the minutes from our special meeting, February 5th, as presented.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, present to speak. Before I ask if anyone here is present to speak, we do have one specific item under present to speak. Gonna do that? So Maureen Parcell, who's our Parks and Rec Director. I'll turn the floor to you.
Thank you. So I'd like to, Bob, if you want to come up too, Bob Shabbat. I'd like to call up Walt and Linda West. Come on up.
You're running us out of town.
No, we would not do that.
We would never.
So Linda, I would. All right, on behalf of the town of Willington, I would like to thank Walt and Linda West for their commitment and dedication for decorating and lighting the evergreen memorial tree on our town green each and every holiday season for over 30 years.
You've done it longer than I have.
Every year I wonder, who's flipping the switch? It's Walt. It's Walt that flips the switch, he puts on the lights. This year we have the brand new tree, the baby tree with a beautiful star on the top. It was really beautiful. So with endless thanks, I would like to present you both with this beautiful canvas photo of the new memorial tree. This photo was taken by Willington's very own resident photographer, Don Drobny. Thank you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a long time. We appreciate it.
Yes.
From us too,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem, guys. I'll keep doing
Just
it.
when you think you can hide, back there flipping the switch.
Can't hide anymore.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you both very much, Dot. Thank you for that beautiful photograph, too. All right. If there's anyone else present to speak? Not all at once? All right. Correspondence. There's a list of correspondence in your packet. All right, status report. There's still a number of projects that will be in the works now that LoCIP money has become available. Crumbling foundations, I know it is later, but it's also like updates. I did this week take a tour of a home with Pam Toohey with the Department of Housing. So we went out to see what I can only imagine is one of the worst, if not the worst, here in Willington. So it was eye-opening to say the very least. So I want to thank that family, I won't name them, that let us come in and see their home. This is an issue that's not going away, but the Department of Housing is she's the advocate in the Department of Housing for homes in this condition, and she was touring many areas. And of all the towns she saw, she did say this was the worst she had seen. So I was able to put my hand into the walls in their basement. It was pretty eye-opening. So we're continuing to work on this. There's legislation happening and not happening. So I'll let you know with any other updates. The other items on there, the land use position, we hope to, in the next week, get the ad for that position out. Working on finalizing that job description. We still, assessor position, we still have somebody temporary in place. So that is still an ongoing endeavor. And then the account associate position that we did have open, we're now looking to change that to an account analyst position. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to add item F to new business to approve job description for a newly created account analyst position in the finance office.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, John. Aye. Okay, that's it for my status report. Public Works, the crew has been busy with the following: vehicle equipment repair, pushing up salt deliveries, which is hard to believe considering it was nice enough to have the windows open today. Cleaning vehicles, roadside brush and tree removal, plowing and sanding of the roads and municipal parking lots, sign repair, removing unwanted items from WIllington Youth Family Social Services, and depositing them at the transfer station. So busy as usual. All right, so new business. We have a proposed Eagle Scout project, and we have a young Eagle Scout here who'd like to talk to us about his project. Mr. Kavar?
Hello, I'm Dylan with the Scout Troop here in town. The proposed project is to renovate the kitchen here in the town hall. That involves repainting the walls themselves, sanding and repainting the cabinets, installing a new baseboard in the kitchen, as well as replacing some of the ceiling tiles in the kitchen. It would also involve installing a shelf in the throughway there, and washing and replacing the screens on the windows, not only in the kitchen, but also in this room.
Okay. It's quite the undertaking.
Sure, everybody's really gonna be in favor of that, because it needs done.
Yes. Do you have any questions of Dylan? So it's this kitchen that we're talking about up here. It's gonna be doing, so I assume the doors are gonna be gone with the new shelf in place, is that how it's gonna be?
I believe so.
I believe so, okay.
Your idea, or did,
This has been brought to the troop itself.
okay.
This has been suggested.
Have you ever undertaken something like this before?
This isn't the first project I've led. I led a project over at High Chase to help with brush and cleaning up the front lawn. But of this size undertaking, it's the first, I would say.
Okay. This will be the largest you've undertaken so far. Dylan, correct me if I'm wrong, you're hoping this will be completed by mid-spring maybe?
Yeah,
Correct, maybe early May?
before May 9th.
Before May 9th. So May 9th, my guess, is the big
Cut off.
cutoff. You get to a certain age in Boy Scouts and they cut you off. So I thank you for looking to help the town in this way. Anything you can do to help us spruce up this is very welcome. You have plenty of help from your fellow scouts and leaders? Okay. All right. John, any questions?
No, just, thank you.
Liza?
No.
All right, well, we look forward if there's anything we can do to help you, Dylan, and keep us abreast of how things are going. Maybe the next time, when you're done, we can meet in here and we'll be able to take a look at the
Tour.
finished product. So thank you. Good luck to you. All right, the next item is the MS4 Stormwater Ordinance. So we need to, one of the next steps in the MS4 is developing an ordinance. So you have a copy of two ordinance drafts. One was from Buss and O'Neill, gave it to us from Stanford, and then this one was developed This one, I believe, is being more widely used, the first one. So we need to make some adjustments, take a look at things. Robin has updated some of the information for us. Oops. We need to,
I'm sorry, where's the second one?
Oh,
Oh,
you guys
they
did the
didn't-
second one
you
from
didn't.
the city of Stamford.
it's from the city of Stamford, so they're probably a little bit more of a,
The Stanford one's the one they passed out months ago, right?
right, this is the first one. This one is a little bit more generic and
Now,
based
this
towards our
hopefully is more
non-urban
developed
area.
than these.
This, I think, take a look at the two, I believe this one is more developed
I
than,
hope the Stanford one will be kind of obsolete now.
yes,
Working into Willington.
correct.
I don't know, we are urban.
We are very urban, and we're an urban area, John, so
Yeah,
we are Sanford waiting to happen.
there are slums in the world. There's
That's right.
Dobby, there's Rio de Janeiro, there's Bombay, and then again there's Willington.
And then there's Wellington,
I
so,
can't walk outside without tripping over cardboard houses and all that, and where I'm going with this. I'm very unhappy with this. And for those of you who don't know, the DEP discovered that we are a crowded urban area, and therefore they have to take over our stormwater enforcement, and they passed down what originally was this outrageously expensive proposal, which previous first selectmen went and negotiated with them and made it merely a very expensive proposal, which at one time we were supposed to, the state was supposed to pay for a goodly portion of it, but now I understand that the state unfortunately can't afford to, so, well, we'll probably get stuck with that payment as well.
yes.
And in order to implement this, which the only necessity I see for it is to provide employment for some of the bureaucrats in the DEP, we need to have an ordinance passed by the town of Willington. And I came up with the question, which I've never had answered: what happens if we don't pass it? An ordinance speaks to the fact that the people of Willington got together and passed an ordinance because they want this. We are told we have to pass the ordinance. There's a problem there. I don't know what it is. So I know we're gonna go through the process. I've been told we don't have a choice, we must do this, and I guess we must do this. But I'm going to yell about it all the way, and when it comes time to pass the ordinance, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But we have a proposed ordinance here, and I'll turn it over to you to see where you wanna go with it.
So, the two of you wanna take a look at it? You wanna spend some time looking it over before we,
Yeah,
you know,
we'll read it.
move on it? So let's
Yep.
look at it, any questions, concerns, and bring them forth, and then we'll move forward with that. I agree with most of your concerns. There's a very lengthy list of tasks included in this MS4. Yeah, this is the least of them, but the one that's due in the shortest amount of time. So we have to be showing progress on these things, so this fits that bill. We are making progress, we are attempting, we are working towards an ordinance. All right.
Okay.
So we will take a look at them, get any questions, back, let's see if we can answer them, and this will be on the agenda at our next meeting. Excellent. All right, the next item on our agenda is our budget. And, can you see if Donna's ready? I think Donna's still tweaking some numbers. So, you have a copy of the budget in hand. It also, I know she's gonna present it, so I don't wanna say too much until she joins us. And here she is. This is what, happens during budget season. We keep Donna working, calculating numbers right till the bitter end. I think she's some new copies for us.
The new one and
Take
pass
and
it down.
pass.
The
So,
new,
So this one is
The
just,
jobs.
yes.
yes.
The new one, it has on the heading 2018-19 Board of Selectmen budget as of February 20th, 2018. So you know that you're looking at the right document.
excellent.
And Erica made some last minute changes with
Made
me.
some last minute adjustments, mainly in the salary item, under account 137. And that really brings that, salary line item, in line with the job, and in line with, others, with the certification that she holds, and other positions. There are more things that we could talk about, I believe because they're of a personnel nature, that it would need to be in executive session for us to discuss those things, so we can we could talk about it here, but I'll only answer things that wouldn't necessarily cross that line. If we wanted to have the only other option is to adjourn to an executive session now and then come back out. I'm not a fan of, we talked about this throwing things in, but this is one of those times where things happen without planning ahead. So the other, that brings the selectmen's budget as it looked prior to this year to a 1.6% decrease. This year, because as of January 9th, the town clerk is now is an appointed position and not an elected position, it's now part of the Board of Selectmen budget. So it in itself has, if it were still a standalone department, they would have a 4.8% decrease. All right, but when we put them together, it makes the entire Board of Selectmen budget a 1.4% increase. So we are at an increase. I know the Board of Finance asked us to be decreased, but the biggest reason for that increase is that we now have an entire department that was not part of our budget prior to this year. Follow me? All right.
Gotcha.
So it looks unappealing together, but separately, they're both still a decrease.
Yeah.
With Donna's help, we've been working since the beginning of the year on this budget. The Public Works saw a big decrease, and that made all the difference for most of ours. We did have 2% salary increases, which will make the majority of our increases. Any specific questions, John or Liza?
Not on this one, no.
Not on this one. So, we are Donna and I will be presenting this budget on March 8th to the Board of Finance. They would like our budget a week before, which would make it next Thursday, March 1st. This is our last regularly scheduled meeting prior to that date. We can vote and approve the budget tonight, and it would move on to them. Or unless you'd like to wait, have some more discussion.
Well, we have more discussion on this other
Yes.
issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be included in our budget?
It is already included in this budget.
Okay, well, then I don't, but we haven't discussed it yet.
We haven't discussed
So I
it yet.
don't think we're ready
You
to
wanna wait?
vote on
You
the
wanna-
budget.
So maybe we can come back to this after we discuss that item? Okay, all right. So, the next item would be to approve the CIP plan for 2018-19. Donna, Stuart, I apologize, Stuart couldn't be with us tonight. He's the current chair of CIP. So Donna is going to present that portion. It's in this packet.
Yes.
The number is included.
Yes.
I'd be willing to answer any questions.
Okay, great.
to see.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna talk about the first year of the plan, which is, I think, finalized now by the committee. And after the out years are in place, then a full report with narrative will come to this board for approval. So for now, this is really just an update because it's a work in progress. So the first year of the capital budget is 18-19, and it's detailed on the lower section of your budget. So these are line items that impact the selectmen's budget, and the local funding on capital, the local spending on capital has increased 2%. Last year it was $533,640. This year it's budgeted to be $544,160. So it's a 2% in local spending. And there's 4 categories that the local breaks down to. Capital reserve, so $56,702 is going to be a fund transfer to the savings account or the capital reserve fund. The next category is debt repayment, and that is $222,220, and that is the bond for the library, interest and principal, and it is the lease payment for the animal control truck and for self-contained breathing apparatus for WIllington 1, that's being leased. And the next category is 311, debt repayment, and those are public works leases, so that's equipment being leased. And that number is also embedded up above in 311 in the public works budget request. The last item is capital expenditures, and that category is budgeted to spend $193,115, and those are projects that are outlined in the capital budget, and the projects are $23,500 for a security monitoring system at Center Hall. The second project is $82,407, and that is for heat in the classrooms in the upper wing at Center School. The third item is $30,160, and that is for municipal permitting software for the building department. The next item is $19,000, and that is to chip seal the town office parking lot. And the last item in the category is the replacement of self-contained breathing apparatus for Wellington Hill for $30,268. And all of that adds to $193,115.
Wasn't there also redoing the basketball courts at River Road? That should be
Yes,
like
that's the last one,
7,000? Yes.
right at the bottom. There is one more. River Road, resurfacing the basketball court for $7,780.
What happens when you spend all those nights at CIP, you remember them?
So there's 6 projects totaling $193,115. That's the local part of capital spending, and then there's off-budget funds, the reserve fund, and LoCIP grants and STEEP grants. Okay, so for off-budget, for spending from the reserve fund, there is a project at the school, which is the south roof replacement at Hall Memorial. Only one project for the reserve fund. The second off-budget is LoCIP funding to, let's get it out here,
Such a small document.
catch basins and stormwater outfall.
It's mapping, so that item is
Mapping.
mapping for the MS4, another requirement.
And the last thing we are hoping for is a reappropriation of our STEEP funds to the reconfiguration of the salt shed.
Yes. Which I still don't have an answer to. I'm shocked to hear that. All right. So I move to approve the CIP plan for 2018-19.
Second?
All right, in discussion? It's been quite an experience. We're not quite finished with the out years. but that doesn't affect our current budget, which is why we can approve these expenditures now. So if you haven't been to a CIP meeting, I encourage you to. You sat on that committee?
I have not.
You have not? John, you haven't lived. You see all the things that need to be done. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so moved. We have a couple of tax refunds. We'll come back to the rest of the budget. I move to refund to Claudia Spinella an overpayment in the amount of $6.89.
Second.
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. I move to refund Lori Woodward. This is a certificate of correction, in the amount of $24.89.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so the item F under new business is what we added tonight. So you should have in your packet a copy of the job description. So the Board of Finance had asked us to find efficiencies within the town, not just the town hall, but they've gone to just about every board in town. And so with that, Donna came to me with the opportunity to be more efficient in the finance office. And with that, it was instead of 2 part-time account associate positions, that we now would have 1 full-time account analyst. The analyst would be able to perform, it would be both duties of the town and the Board of Ed. Those are 2 separate positions previously. And now they would be working together, but there's some different technology things in place that make that job a little bit more efficient. And so with that, Donna, do you want to speak about any specifics regarding the position? No, okay. So you can see what some of the responsibilities are in that position, and the savings. Donna, do you know off the top of your head what the savings is?
It's $13,000.
It's a $13,000 savings between the two while being more efficient. Dr. Jacoby has been working with Donna. The person would work for us. We share a business manager, we share some of that financial work. So they would be doing some of the work on behalf of the Board of Ed, but they work for the town. So they work under us. So that's already, that number is already reflected in the budget under finance office. So it would be 1 full-time position now instead of 2 part-time positions.
There is so much wrong with this
Okay,
that I don't know where to start.
okay,
Part of it is this is a major personnel decision to be made here, which, of course, the Board of Selectmen are people who do that. I got a email from you saying the town has decided to do this. I'm not sure who the town is, but I know that at least this selectman was not consulted on it. I don't know if Liza was or not. So now I have to wonder why the hurry. Friday afternoon, this all came out. Nobody had ever heard a thing about it. And I understand that someone is going to lose their job over this. And now here, wow, you know me, I'm always, let's save money. If we're gonna want to save money, we may have to lay people off. And I hate to do it, but it may have to be done. So now we're gonna lay somebody off. Wonderful. And we're gonna save money. But now, I look back and for the last year, one of these 2 positions has been intermittently filled. It's been filled, not filled. And yeah, we've been doing fine. We won, I believe, Donna, didn't we get another one of our awards for excellence in the financial department, as we do every year? So we're excellent, we're doing great. I haven't heard any complaints that work isn't being done or that mistakes are being made. In other words, we've been doing a great job down there with what we've had. So now we're told we're going to save money by, and I would think, my way to save money, eliminate that position that really doesn't seem to have been vital, because we've been doing fine without it when it hasn't been going in. And no, we're going to save money by eliminating one part-time position and hiring a full-time position that will pay more than that one position, but would pay less than if we had filled both two-time positions. And of course, somebody's going to get a nice good job out of this. And I do not like it. I do not like the way it was done. I do not like the secrecy, and all of a sudden now it's done. We were asked in one of these to approve tonight putting a ad in the newspaper for it. So we could approve it tonight, but the ad's already been in the newspaper. No.
We're approving, I'm asking you to approve a job description, not an ad in the newspaper. I do have the authority to create the position. We are doing what we believe is the best for the town, which is what's been proposed. It's not something that happened overnight. There are many aspects of this that I cannot discuss in a public meeting, because they are personnel issues. And so that there are certain things that if we'd like to adjourn to executive session, I could probably answer some of your questions. There's some things that I just we can't discuss here. The two things are two very different items. One is, we were given the task by the Board of Finance to find some efficiencies, and Donna did find those efficiencies. Both of those jobs were necessary. One has been empty since October. The only reason it wasn't filled was because our finances were frozen by the Board of Finance. We asked for that to change so that we could hire. They agreed to that. Because things were getting done doesn't mean all of the things weren't falling behind. I would defer to Donna. Do you feel like there are things you've had to push back because you haven't had assistance in your office?
Yes.
Okay. There are certain things that we have to do. And do they get them done? Yes, they get them done. It doesn't mean they're getting done in the amount of time we expect Donna to be here. She is picking up the slack from not having someone in her office. We have to get them done, and they do work hard and they do get them done. But that doesn't mean that we don't need something different. And in this case, what is most efficient in that office is a different position than the two part-time account associates. It's a more robust job with a few different criteria. There's a few different responsibilities than the previous positions. This person would be analyzing data, working directly with Donna and Dr. Jacoby in those efficiencies, and being able to offer feedback so that we could, in the future, be more efficient.
I'm not convinced. If you wish to go into executive session, that's fine. We can do that and discuss it.
If you'd like to.
I concur.
So what do you want to move to? I'll move that we enter into executive session, that we add executive session to the agenda now and invite, I want to add it to the agenda.
Okay, I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now I move that we enter into executive session to discuss a personnel issue and invite Donna Letensis.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor? We can,
I think we need to.
we could either move ourselves to someplace else and then come back to this meeting,
I would suggest that executive session is
It's unfortunately not open to the
a
public.
private session, it's not open. We will be coming back to the public meeting when we're done with executive session. So if you wanna stay, you can hear the end of it, if you leave, well, you leave. I think we.
And we will miss you.
I think we could be back.
Move to your office,
Move to my office.